Hi, my name is Johanna Hessler, and my company is Inner Alignment Alchemy. I'm really excited that you are here with me today to learn a little bit about numbers, about their vibration, and how they play a part in your life that you probably didn't even realize, and how we can use them to our benefit to learn from them and to heal ourselves. So without further ado, let's get started. I love numbers, by the way. I never thought I would. I kind of geek out on it. So if I start to go into a lot of detail, just, ride the wave with me. If you have any questions, jot them down and ask me at the end, because I'd be happy to answer them. Yeah, because I love them. So let's start sharing the screen. And here we are. Welcome. As I mentioned, I'm going to be sharing with you today a little bit about numerology and how it can be used for healing. And I know it's a very strange concept, but it is really exciting that each number has a vibration and frequency to it. I'll be talking about that. And how each number that relates to your date of birth affect you. Now, often the numbers from childhood are the ones that we need to work on the most, and I'll explain that a little bit more. And the third part I'm going to be talking about today is why we need to heal these numbers and how we do it. So before I dive into that, I want to tell you a little bit about myself. So I am first generation Canadian. And the reason I say that is that I was born here. My parents are English and German, but I never really felt like this was, it's home, but I resonate more with my roots from my ancestries. So it's like, this is the place that I was born, but who I am comes from a different place. So having said that, I grew up in Oak Bay, Victoria. And to me, it was a very magical place. I had the ocean across the street from our house, and I had a hill and forest behind me. I could feel the energy. I love nature, flowers, plants. I swear I could see fairies. And it was just a really lovely place to grow up. I had no problem being alone. I had a vivid imagination, and yeah, I'm one of those people that has no problems really being by themselves. I have, as I said, a creative imagination, and I do very well by myself. But like most families, they expand. And so I ended up with a brother and a cousin who kind of shifted my world a little bit. So when they came into the picture, as most families do, we start going out and doing things. And I was very shy. I never felt like I fit in. I'd always sort of sit on the sidelines. My parents would be like, "Oh, go join them," and the group. And I'm, no, that's not for me. And somewhere around this time, I got sick. I had a lot of lung issues. I ended up in hospital a number of times because of this. And I'm saying this now because it will relate to what I'm going to talk about later on. As I grew up, I didn't always fit in. I didn't feel like, I felt like kind of like an imposter. And I know that I'm not the only one who has this feeling. Other people do as well. And I tried on different personas. I tried on different masks. But some of them fit better than others, but sometimes it was just a defense mechanism, a survival mechanism just to get through, kind of like, high school. Again, because I enjoyed my own company, I traveled a lot by myself. Not to say that I didn't like being with people, but again, oftentimes people weren't ready or, to go traveling at the same time I was. So I just did it. Got my degree in fine arts. I became a graphic designer. I did both of these things kind of backwards. I've done this my whole life where I've wanted something and it hasn't been a smooth, A, B, C. It'd be more like C, D, A, B. Anyway, I ended up being a graphic designer for many, many years. Through most of my life, I have felt like I've been on a quest to find out who is this person, me, Johanna. There were times when I'd look at myself in the mirror and the outside person didn't quite fit with the inside person. So I did lots of personal development work. I am a seeker of knowledge. I love to learn. I love to try and understand why I am the way I am, why the world is the way they, why is that person the way they are? Because sometimes I didn't understand it, didn't fit. So one of the workshops I did, I finally felt like I got permission to be me. And that was really interesting. It was being in this setting with all these other people who were sharing themselves. And I could see me in that person and that person and that person. It was like, oh, it is okay. It's safe to some degree to share that inner part. So part of that journey for me was becoming more comfortable in my own skin. And this took a turn when I was trying to get pregnant. And I took a class and I was so uncomfortable. It was a Nia class and we had to make noises and move. And I was so uncomfortable. And I thought, all right, this is something I need to work on. So subsequently, I ended up taking Nia for years and years, loved it. I then became an instructor, which pushed me even further to really learn to be in my body, because I tend to be up in my head a lot. I think a lot. I went on to become a medical exercise specialist. Again, totally out of my field, working with bodies, working with, we live in this thing, we move in it. And now I'm learning about how to heal it. I also, along this path, realized that things happen to us. We may break bones or get in a car accident or we get ill, but oftentimes the work I was doing was not enough to heal people, that we had to go deeper, but I didn't know how to do that. So then I started to learn, I wanted to learn about what I could do on a deeper level to help people. So this was my big shift spiritually. And this is where I learned intuitive energy massage. So being able to put my hands on people and to feel the energy and to feel where things were stuck and to move that out. So I went on a learning curve for myself on this spiritual, on this energetic level. In and amongst this, I started to learn about numerology and about how numbers and their vibrations affect people. It made sense. My destiny number made sense to me. It's like it fell into place. And then I could start to do some work around those areas that were still bothering me. So over the last, I don't know how many years now, I've been working on myself. I've been going deep. I've been doing the passive healing versus active healing. This is what I now do. Passive is where somebody else is working with you. So that's when I do the hands-on. Now we all love a good massage, where that person, that massage therapist or myself, if I'm doing energy work, I am helping to move that energy out, those blocks that are in some other person. The active healing is through the guided meditation that I now do as well, and that I've done a lot of, because you are working with yourself, your inner child, you're working with your guides, which again, I'm going to explain all of this later, to start to heal yourself, to heal your past, to heal those events that usually are left over from childhood, or not left over, we've carried them with us from childhood. So this is what I do now. I've also been got back into my painting, into my art, which was really, really important, because staying in joy, doing the things that make us happy are so important. Anyway, that's enough about me. Let's keep going with numbers. So numbers have vibrations, energy, and frequency. So everything in the universe is made up of energy, including us. We are all connected. Nikola Tesla had it right. If you want to find the secrets of the universe, we have to think in terms of that energy, that frequency, and the vibration. So it comes down to feelings. How do we feel? You know how sometimes you meet somebody and just go, ooh, and then other times you meet somebody and it's like there's a connection. That's energy. That's energy. So it's all around us. It's in movement, it's in sound, it's in light. And we all have a specific energy. again, why we are attracted to certain people or repelled from others. So numerology was developed in the 5th century by Pythagoras, and he discovered the relationship between letters and numbers. I believe he actually discovered it through music, but I don't know anything about music, so I'm not going to go there. But what he discovered was that each letter was associated with a number, and it had either a positive or negative vibration. So you can see up here that just starting with the alphabet, it only goes to number 9, and then it repeats, it wraps around. So your name, when we start to add up your name, it falls, you can start to figure out what number your name makes up, and then what those vibrations mean. So we're going to get into that in a little bit. So each number has a positive or negative aspect to it. In blueprint numerology, which is what I do, it looks predominantly at the negative aspect of the number, not because the number is negative, not because you are negative in any way, but oftentimes we get stuck in the negative side of that number. And that is what is affecting our lives. It affects our health. It affects us physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. It can affect our relationships. It can affect our business. It can affect everything. So this is the part, the negative side is where we really start to dig in. How your destiny numbers affect you. So your destiny or life path is made up of 3 numbers. And those are the numbers when we add your date of birth, your month, your day with the year. And we look at each number specifically because it starts from the day you're born until the day that you die. And as I mentioned earlier, oftentimes it's those numbers that we have from childhood, that's where we get stuck. Some of the stuff that if we don't clean that up or deal with it, we carry it all the way through. So for example, my destiny is 34-7. So I'm going to explain this a little bit more. So the first number represents your childhood. These are the lessons that you're meant to learn from your family of origin up until the time you leave home. So as I mentioned earlier, my brother and my cousin came in. At one point in my family home, we had my great Nana there, my aunt, and my cousin. So we had plus my mom and dad and my brother. Oh, and I think there was a dog there too. So again, lots of things happen in that childhood. The second number represents what you're meant to learn once we leave home. So again, everyone's chart is going to be slightly different. So the age that first number goes to and the age the second number goes to will adjust a little bit. So that second number is when you're out on your own. That is, you're out in the world, you as an adult, you're finding your way. And this might be going, to university, it might be traveling, it might be working, more relationships, maybe even getting married, having your own family. And then the third number is your destiny or life path that you have until the end of your life. Now that last number will affect those first 2 numbers, but it is that final number that will take you to the end of your life. All right, so each section of your life is affected by that number that I just mentioned, and the things that you are here to learn and grow from. And if we don't master those lessons, the vibration of that number, we can carry that throughout our whole life. I've already mentioned this a couple of times. So let's just take a moment to calculate what your destiny is. So for me, we start with the month, which is October. My day is the 1st, and I was born in 1967. So when we add each of those individual numbers up, it comes out to 34. So in this case, October being the 10, we leave that as a 10. So 10 plus 1 plus 1 plus 9 plus 6 plus 7, 34. And then we add the 3 and the 4 together, and that's the 7. All right. So just to go into the detail about what each of those numbers means, I'm going to tell you about myself, and then I'm going to go into some of the other numbers as well. So the 3 for me that was my childhood. That was my childhood from birth up until I was 30. So the 3 is about communication. It's about expressing emotion. It's about the joy of living. It is about sharing oneself. It is about sharing one's feelings. Now, I didn't talk a lot as a child. I was, as I mentioned, very shy, wouldn't share who I was. So the negative side of that 3 is the not communicating. It's not expressing oneself. It's shoving those feelings down. And the biggest thing is self-doubt for that number 3. Not being happy, not being joyful, not having a happy childhood. That's awful. We are supposed to have a happy childhood. Now, sometimes things happen to us. So what can happen physically, because the 3 is related to the throat chakra, is that there can be problems in and around the throat. There could be problems with our neck, with our shoulders, sinuses, ear and lung issues. So remember I said I was in hospital a lot? So I had bronchial pneumonia. That was the first time I was in hospital. Second time I was in hospital, I had double pneumonia. So that means in both lungs, and I ruptured a lung and I had asthma. I have had chronic sinus infections. I have had strep throat and a lot of ear infections. So you can see that because of my not speaking and sharing, it manifested all within this area. Doesn't mean it's going to happen to everybody, but for me, that's what happened. So the second number for me is that 4, which is about stability, balance, and harmony. If you imagine 4 legs of a table, that's the mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual legs. So if one of those legs is out of balance, that table's going to be wobbly. So that's the negative side of the 4. It can be unstable, messy. 4s can contradict themselves. So 4s might be wishing for something to happen. But then they don't believe that they deserve it. So they contradict that. So how can the universe bring you what you want when you don't believe it? You don't think that you're worthy. So some of the problems that can happen with that 4 is in the lower body. It's the bowels, the kidneys. There can be high blood pressure, problems with hips. Oftentimes, the 4 will experience divorce in the family. So my parents divorced and then I divorced. So I had to learn that experience, those feelings on both sides of that. And I have had feet problems as long as I can remember. Luckily, not too many knee and hip stuff. So my destiny number is a 7. And that's all about self-trust, belief in our gifts and in the universe, that we'll be taken care of, that there is something else out there and that we are part of that. The negative of that is not believing that, not trusting ourselves or others, overthinking, up in the head. Remember I said I think a lot? Don't believe it in their gifts or their gifts, try again, or their gifts can make a difference. Try saying that one fast. And then they will overanalyze things. So I could sit here and I could say, did I do this presentation properly? Am I saying too much? Did I not say enough? Is it too much detail? Is it I'm overanalyzing? I'm in my head. And when I'm up in here, I'm not down in here, and I'm not necessarily expressing myself. So you see how they start to work together? So the problems with the 7 can show up in the middle of the body. And again, that could be liver, stomach, gallbladder, ankles, knees. Again, I haven't had a whole lot of that, thankfully. But you can start to understand how things might show up in our lives. And if we haven't dealt with them, they'll come back. All right, let's keep going and having looking at some of these other numbers. So I'm going to go through this rather quickly. The number 1 is about leadership. That's about independence. It's self-confidence. That's getting out there and being who you are, making a difference in the world. The negative side of that is you don't have that confidence, feeling stuck, blocked. Number 1s are also, they're the entrepreneurs. They're the go-getters. They are the ones as a kid who are setting up the lemonade stand. What can also happen if you have a lot of 1s in your chart is becoming very self-centered or arrogant or very much in your ego. Don't tell me what to do. That's a 1. So sometimes things that can go happen with the 1, because again, that's all, it's up in the crown chakra. There's a lot of mental disorders. We can get to confusion, dizziness. I'm not going to again go into a lot of detail about that. And it doesn't mean that it's going to happen to everybody, but this is what can happen is oftentimes if we sit in the negative part of that, if we're not honoring that you're supposed to be out there in the world sharing yourself. Number twos, these are about relationships. These are the big hearted people of the world. These are the ones who wear their heart on their sleeve, lots of gifts, their feminine energy. But what can happen with the 2 is that they give themselves away. They lose their power. They become a doormat. They get taken advantage of. And this is, you'll know if this number resonates with you, because oftentimes they are the victims. They're very, very sensitive beings. They have like these great big huge hearts, but they are not good with boundaries, with learning to say no and taking care of themselves. So the number 2 is related to the heart, being big-hearted. So that can affect, the heart, the immune system, allergies, lungs, anything in and around this area. Number 5 is about freedom. Freedom from your family, culture, religion, from your negative beliefs, from your thoughts, from anything that is holding you back. 5s also love to travel. Now, I think of traveling in, yes, we want to go to faraway places, but if the 5s are not having a good time, they're out of there. So they're gone. They're traveling. Bye-bye. So the negative of the 5 is, even though they want freedom from all this stuff, they're afraid of it. They're afraid to be free of it. So it's really hard to let go, even though they want it. What often happens is that they overindulge or under. So it's too much of one thing or not enough. So again, we're looking at balance. So that relates to the sacral. So this is all to do, women can have problems with their menstrual cycles, PMS. We can have gut issues in there. We get the IBS, the irritable bowel, endometriosis, low back pain. So again, just that whole area can be affected by that number 5. 6 is a lovely number. This is the only number in the numbers that can be both divided into by the masculine and the feminine. So it's a nice balance. It's about responsibility. It's about family, about health, it's about balance. And it is, if you want to be in a relationship with the 6, because they are committed. Now, the 6s are also, because it's about that vibration is about responsibility, oftentimes they will take on the responsibility of everything and anybody else, kind of like the 2. So they are not good with boundaries. They are not good with saying no. So they need to learn to show others how to be responsible instead of taking it on themselves. Because then, one day it's going to be too much. And we don't want 6s to be upset. And again, that's another heart chakra. So what else can happen, as I mentioned before, with the heart disease immune system, is we also can have breast cancer and chronic fatigue. So when our hearts are hurt, when that energy, when we build up that wall, it goes places. 8 is about money, power, and recognition. So 8's on the positive. These are the money makers of the world. These are the movers and the shakers. And they're out there. They're talking. They're doing their things. These are tend to be more business people. If you're lousy with if you're lousy with money, you're in the negative aspect of that 8. So I have a friend who's got lots of 8s in her chart. She's awful with money. She's awful. She shouldn't be. She should actually be like great with money. But because she's stuck in that negative side of it, she isn't living her full potential. And she worries about money when she doesn't really have to, because the numbers are there in her chart to help her. So on the negative side of the 8 is afraid of stepping into that power. This could be a past life stuff. 8, you know, you can look at it that in infinity, but it's also people get stuck in patterns. We've got to cut that 8, get you out of that pattern. There's also a fear of being recognized. So I had that. I wanted to be seen. I wanted to be heard. But I was also really afraid of being heard. So there's that double side of that. The what can show up physically, and that's 8 shows up in root and in solar plexus. So we can get constipated. There can be colitis, Crohn's. I'm not sure where the high blood pressure comes in there, but anyway, liver, stomach, gallbladder. So again, that whole area can be affected by that fear of stepping into one's power, to being okay, to speak our truth, to be who we are, authentic, to be recognized as an individual. Number 9 is about completion of one thing to start something else. Number 9 is oftentimes when we see number 9s in the chart, they are here to finish up, and I'm talking this on a soul level. They're here to finish up business. They don't want to come back. They've done. They're big humanitarians. Again, they want to make sure that everything's okay before they go. On the flip side, if they're not aware of this, they are going to be giving their energy away to everybody and everything, scattered. I don't know what I want to do. Doubting their abilities, doubting their gifts, resisting what they are meant to do. So physically, again, that the 9 is up in the third eye. So headaches, migraines, eye issues, sinus, all that stuff up in there, because they're not in that positive side of that number. So hopefully this gave you a little bit more of an idea of the numbers and what those vibrations can mean. All right, why do we need to heal? Good question. Why do we care about this? Why do the numbers, why should we understand and listen to, you know, what the numbers mean and how they can affect us? So yeah, just knowing them and understanding them is not enough. We need to release the vibration that is associated with that number. And all those feelings that we carry from childhood. So again, each letter adds up to a number. So when we start to add up things like shame and guilt, these are what are called low vibration emotions. And let's look at grief. Grief is 75. Most of us have lost somebody or we've lost a pet. That feeling, that's 75. That's a low number. And let's say that we had a pet die and we were never able to really get over the loss of that pet. We carry that with us for the rest of our lives. And that gets kind of heavy. So we want to release some of those low vibration emotions so that we can start to free ourselves, raise our vibration. Because when we are down in that lower level, we kind of get stuck. We get caught in those heavy feelings. And I know you all know what I'm talking about because we've all had those days where we just feel heavy. What about those days when we feel light, when we are in love, in joy, everything is beautiful, you know, those rosy glasses, but it's more than that. It is a feeling. These are all to do with the vibrations and the energy that those emotions create. All right, so before I go on any more about this, I would like to do a little meditation with you. I'd like you to experience a little bit more of how I work and what it could look like for you. So let's take a moment. We're going to sit comfortably in our chair. I'm going to ask you to close your eyes. Make sure your feet are on the floor. Let's take a nice deep breath in and blow it out. Take a nice deep breath in again. Sitting on the chair, knowing that you are fully supported in this moment in time. Let's breathe in for a count of 4. Hold it and breathe out for a count of 4. Hold it. Breathe in again. Hold it. Breathing out. Awesome. I want you to imagine that you are walking in a forest. You can hear the birds in the trees chirping. The wind is rustling the leaves. The sun is coming through, dappling the light. You can feel the warmth on your face, on your skin. And you can hear the crunch of the path as you walk. Take a moment to look around you. Up ahead, you see a silver plate. As you come upon it, I want you to put everything that has been heavy on your brain, on your mind, onto that plate. Making sure that plate is piled high. Get everything out that you don't need. This is your time. If you need to make the plate bigger, do so. And then watch that plate fly up higher and higher into the universe until you don't see it anymore. Continue on your path and noticing up ahead there are some stairs. You're going to walk up the stairs, and at the end of the stairs there's a door with a key in it. I want you to unlock the door, open it, take the key out, step through the door into your own private island. You're going to close the door, lock it, and keep the key with you. This is a safe place. This is your island. And even though I say island, you could make it a house. It could be a room. It could be a mountaintop. It could be the beach. Take a moment to create it to be exactly what you want it to be. Don't be cheap. Have it be just how you want it to be. And while you're doing that, I'm going to create an energy field between us all, and for those who are going to be listening to this later. Now, your energy field could be water, it could be clouds, it could be trees, it could be the butterfly floating by. It's just something that is connecting all of us together. And now I want you to invoke and invite your master guide and your healing doctor to be with you on your island. They are coming from the light. And even if you don't see them, just know that they are there with you. They're here for you. And then I want you to invite an inner child to be with you on your island. Anywhere from the age of 2 to 9, or whatever age needs to show up for you. Welcome them, hug them, kiss them. And I want you to look into their eyes. And what do you see? Are they happy to be there? Are they sad? Are they confused? What are the feelings that are showing up in this inner child of yours? And whatever those feelings are, I want you to take them and put them into the field. You don't need to carry them anymore. And you notice suddenly that there's a door has shown up. I want you to take your inner child. I want you to open this door and you're going to step into a room. Close the door behind you. It is a white room, 4 walls. The door is still there. And there's a table in the middle of the room with marker pens on it, all different colors. I want you to go and take one of those markers, and you and your inner child are going to write down, right on the walls, everything, every feeling, every event, every situation or person that you want to let go of. I'm going to give you some time to write. It could be big letters, it could be small. Whatever it is that you want to leave today, let your inner child help you. But in particular, anything from your childhood that you are aware of that you're still carrying. And don't worry, this is not about the other person, this is about you. So by writing down and releasing that person and those feelings, you free them as well. I'm going to leave you for a moment or two to write everything that you need to write on those walls. Use all 4 walls. And keep writing whatever's coming up for you. Just keep working on it, talking to your inner child, whatever it is that you want to let go of. Change colors if you need to. Keep writing. Let it all go. Let it all go. Write it out. And when you're feeling complete, you'll notice that another door has appeared. Take your inner child, open that other door and step out. Close the door behind you. And then all of a sudden you'll see a big flash. And this room has magically been squished down into a cube. It's no bigger than, I'm going to say it's bigger than a sugar cube, but or a dice, bigger than that. It's magic. Everything's been squished down. I want you to pick up that cube and you're going to put it into that field. You're going to let the universe take care of everything. You're going to do that with universal love, compassion, and peace for yourself and for everything that you wrote down in there. You're letting it go. You don't have to carry that anymore. I want you to envision a mirror on your island. I want you to go and look into your eyes in that mirror. Do you notice any cords coming out from your body? Any feelings that are arising? You're going to very gently pull them out from your side with your left hand, and then with your right, you're going to pull them out from the mirror. These are just energetic cords that are still attached to events or people, maybe even a past life. And you're just unplugging yourself. You are freeing yourself. You're going to wrap those cords up and pop them into the field with universal love, compassion, and peace. And you're going to look back into your mirror. And you're going to say to yourself, I forgive myself. I forgive myself for the things I did in the past, my mistakes, or the things that I thought were mistakes. I did what I did with the information that I had at the time. But I'm choosing now to forgive myself, to release myself, let go of that guilt, that pain, stop beating myself up. I am choosing to love myself and to free myself. And I want you just to take a moment, put your hands on your heart. Take a deep breath. And really honor that you are here doing this work. It's time to leave the island now. Give your child an inner hug, or not a real hug. Thank them for being with you. Say goodbye to your healing doctor and your master guide. You're going to walk back towards the door. You're going to walk through or under this beautiful archway. And as you do so, you're going to be showered with brilliant white light that is cleansing you and clearing you for anything that might be sticking to you, anything residual. So as you come to your door, you're cleansed. Take the key from your pocket, unlock the door, open the door, take the key out, close the door, lock the door, and keep the key with you for next time. Come down the stairs, walk back into the forest. When you're ready, wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, open your eyes, and stretch. Welcome back. Just take a moment to settle yourself into your body. Have a drink of water if you need to. You are perfect, whole, and complete. There is nothing wrong with you. You only have a perception problem. We like to think that we are difficult, that we have issues, that, there's something wrong, but in truth, there isn't. We have things stuck to us. We have feelings. You know that song? Feelings, nothing more than, I can't sing feelings. Oh, see, I can't sing. I'm singing right now. That's what I got to work on. So just to recap everything has energy and it vibrates at different frequencies. It can be positive or negative. So when we feel crappy, we vibrate at that lower frequency. That's based on those low numbers. Remember I was talking about that? And when we feel crappy, our tendency is to do less. Remember I talked about that heaviness? And then we often will blame a situation. We'll blame others. It's always easier to blame, it's my boss. It's my kid. It's, my husband, my wife, whatever. No. It's to do with our feelings. And I love this little chart below because it shows how when we are feeling those feelings, how it affects our bodies and where it affects our bodies. Look at depression. That's blue. Ooh, that's nasty. That's cold. That's like, there's no, that's hard. So the feelings, actually, ironically, are your key to your freedom. Those are the things that we are going to be working with. Those are the links to your childhood, to your past. As I said in the meditation, that person, that event, that circumstance that we are here to learn about or learn from, get that lesson, move on. That's the problem, is that we get the lesson, but we don't move on. We hold on to that person, or we hold on to that event, and we keep bringing it up again and again and again. And every time we do that, we relive it. Those feelings are like so raw, so there. It's not a bad thing, but we don't let them go. We just bury it back down. Or maybe we don't bury it. Maybe it actually is living in us. We want to get rid of it. We want to release that. That's the freedom. So what happens next? That's entirely up to you. So how do you feel about what I've said? How do you feel about this presentation? Did it resonate with you? Did it ring true for you? So you see, I'm using feeling words. Or does this part spark resistance? Like, what the hell is she talking about? Again, that's a low vibration. When we have that resistance, we dig our heels in. That's weird. What is she talking about? Feelings, vibrations. Ugh. Or does it spark an interest? Are you curious? Again, curiosity is higher than that resistance. I was an automatic no for most of my life. Do you want to go do this? No. Do you want to do that? No. That's too weird, or that's too scary, or that's too. I'm a yes. I want to live. I want to enjoy. I want to experience. Not everything. I don't really want to go bungee jumping, but there's a lot of other things that I will do, that I want to do. So I'm going to invite you to sit with all this information. Feel it. Are you called to work with me? Are you called to even just delve in a little bit? If you are, I am ready and willing to work with you. So I have a really exciting program. It's called the Letting Go to Freedom program. It's a 6-week program where we start with your numerology chart. And we look at those numbers. We look at your life path, your destiny, and we break it down, and we look at those 3 numbers, and we start to do the work around that. We start to incorporate Dr. Hawkins' map of consciousness in there to start to remove any and all of those low vibration feelings, those people, those events, those circumstances that are in your way. $300. That is a wicked deal. It's $50 a session. Actually, you get 7 weeks, because the first one is the numerology, and then we start after that. So each week is a whole session, hour and a half, depending on where we're going to do the guided meditation, like the example I gave you. We're going to continue with the emotion code at the end, just to clean up if there's anything that I missed or that you missed. So really excited to share this. 6 weeks, letting go to freedom. I want to utilize the energy of 2021, which is, when we add that all up, that's 5. Freedom, remember? Let's use that energy in December into January to push you forward to that freedom. It's okay if we go into January because we'll still have some of that energy. And then we're going to go into the energy of 2022, which is 6. That's that responsibility. Taking responsibility for your life, for your health, for your family. Not someone else's responsibility, your responsibility. So, wicked deal. Actually, I should change that from wicked deal to an amazing deal. Amazing deal. $300. That's $50 a session for 6 weeks. I hope you will take me up on that offer. If that feels like too much of a commitment, we could just do a numerology chart. We can just do a couple of healing sessions to you can feel what it's like. That's going to be way more expensive than the 6-week one. So I'm going to suggest you jump in. It's a safe place. I go at your speed, but you will see results. I want you to be happy. I want that vibration, your vibration to rise up. We need you. The world needs you. So thank you so much for taking the time out to come and learn about numbers and how they heal and they can change your life. Who knew? Looking at your childhood numbers could make a difference. But it does. I've done the work. I know many people who have, and I'd be excited and absolutely thrilled to share this with you. If you have any questions, please, by all means, get in touch with me. Johanna from Inner Alignment Alchemy. I'm going to stop sharing here. I'm going to bring you back here. So again, thank you so much for taking the time to be with me and to learn a bit more. And if you have any questions at all, please email me, contact me through my website, inneralignmentalchemy.com. And yeah, I'd be happy to sit down and figure out, what is the best thing for you? Is it just starting off with a numerology chart? As I said, you got to jump in sometimes, but if you need me to help you, I'm here. And this is what I'm called to do. So I invite you to take a chance, say yes, you deserve it. Thank you so much. Take care.